Yeah, technical difficulties. I guess you did not hear what I said. So again, welcome to the stream, all good people of Polytopia. Today we have a first Polysseum highlight stream for you. We'll be reviewing Kickoo games. My name is Adam. You might know me from the Polychamps as Gato Azul. Today with me are good friends of Polytopia tribes, Rats and Maradon. Welcome to the stream, guys.
Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Maradon. I'm from the official Polytopia Discord. I'm also moderator there, and I'm happy to have a great time with you. My favorite tribe is the Symanti tribe. You're all gonna hate me for it. I'm still gonna like it. And I'm super excited to review those games with you.
Hello, my name is Rats. I am mostly known in the Poly Champions Discord. I am a competitive player. I've been playing this game competitively for about a year now. I've been in touch with this game for almost 7 years, but yeah, just competitively playing it for a year now. And I love Sebasi because I think they're an all-around great tribe to play with techs that you usually don't see, and it's also a very strong economy tribe.
What do you think about Symanti people?
I mean, as long as the map is not super small, I'll be fine.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we have peace between you. Yeah. So today the stream will go as follows. First, we will review 6 games, right, guys?
Exactly.
And then, as you saw on in the announcements in many places on Discord and on the channel, we will review some games submitted by our audience. If you still want your game to be reviewed, you have some questions, anything about Polytopia, so you can submit your game. I will put the link to the form in the comments, and once the Kickoo games are done, we will review some of the other games and answer your questions. So that's pretty much it, and we'll be wrapping up around the 2 hour, maybe 2.5 hour mark. Yeah. So we are ready to start. I'm adding Rats's
Sounds good.
screen. So what's
Okay,
the first game?
Our first game will be from the players Voris versus Harai. They played on a lakes map. And yeah, it was an interesting game.
Sorry, Maradon. Once again, is this the one?
Nope, this is not the right game. The game is
it not?
from Voris versus Harai.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe to get started with
that's the correct one. Yes.
Polysseum first.
So go ahead.
The Polysseum, the way it works is you have 3 weeks of different, like the same tribe, but different maps where people play each other. And I don't know the order of which those have been selected, but it was continents, lakes, and archipelago. And this one tribe was Kickoo. We have seen the way it works is also out of these Polysseum tournaments, you'll have to play them, and in order to qualify for the monthly grand final, I would call them, you have to place well, and the best 16 players out of all these tournaments in that 3-week period will be invited to that monthly tournament. And this is one of those qualifications game, if I call them like that. Lakes this week, and when it was played. Yeah, let's get started.
All right, let's go. I would say we could turn the shared fog on in our settings, so people get a bit.
Great. It already does. I already broke it.
Yeah, and before we started, so one last word from me. If you have any questions regarding the games, I will pass those to our commentators. So don't hesitate to ask anytime. Thank you.
All right. So both players have Kickoo in this mirror match. Okay, surprise! You kind of could have guessed that from the title. But yeah, both very good players from what I've seen. You already know it's going to be an exciting match when you see those two.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I like these two different openings that we have here. Riding with just one warrior immediately into riding, and the other player going into the water, like on turn 3 or 4 already.
That's a very risky start, in my opinion, because if you don't find anything across the water, or you're just stumbling right into your opponent, you've wasted all these stars and are behind in economy hugely, right?
I mean, you can use those pots to upgrade your cities like Voris does here. But also, if you look at the position here, Voris doesn't really have anywhere to go. Like you see towards the north of his capital, there's absolutely nothing to go with units-wise. And down south, it would be actually faster to be on the water when you want to expand here. And on the other hand, for the pink Kickoo player here, Riders does also make perfect sense because, well, sure, you might have a naval battle later, but expansion-wise, you have a lot of land to work with, so...
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Oh, also, those animal spawn rates for Illyrian-colored Kickoo, they're just awesome, man. That's just what you love to see.
Did I just catch this right? They saw the mountain, they researched climbing, and apparently probably misclicked and missed the mountain, I guess.
See, that's top-tier gameplay right there. You can't say nothing about that.
That's painful, yeah.
Although you could argue, if this was on a mountain ruin, it would actually be safe to not get on it. Because chances are of you getting kicked off it is relatively high, but on a mountain ruin, you have a defense bonus, so it takes 3 units to kick him off.
Let's just see what he does in the next turn with this warrior. Yeah, see, he moves right onto the ruin, right?
Although,
it was just a misclick.
Yeah, it was. Maybe I was thinking, trying to delay the meeting stars here, but I don't think
not really. I mean, the threshold score was already met, right? I think so. All right.
Oh, they were 10 points below the 2000 score threshold. In case you didn't know, if you meet somebody that has less than 1000 score, then you'll get 3 stars. If it's between 1000 and 2000, I think the threshold is 1005 and 2000, you get 5 stars. And between 2005 and 3000, you get 7 stars. For the next 1000, it's 9 stars, and everything above the next 1000 after, it's 11 stars. So we are actually very close of getting 7 stars for meeting them here, but it's gonna be 5, not 7.
You mean
population ruin?
They're already expanding quite well. I mean, we all know Kickoo is a strong tribe economy-wise, but honestly, I've never had 14 stars in turn 8 in any of my games.
Although you do have to mention that this was a population ruin giving them resources, and also a star ruin from the other player being able to further upgrade their economy here.
And we already have some boats on the water here, and already combat is happening in turn 9.
We did see that from Voris' point of view. We did see the riders, so it makes sense to try and use this early naval advantage to actually also assert the pressure on the water to just get the control over. Because rider openings are simply going to be slower when it comes to the navy. And yeah, we get archery from the ruin on the water. But doesn't matter, we already have a first giant on turn 10. An Explorer which is not fully shaped, but it will still go up and reveal some good information.
Oh, and also, if you're wondering what's going on when an Explorer walks into seemingly discovered land, that's because we have shared fork enabled. And this basically means, okay, now we don't have shared fork enabled anymore. This basically means that we see all tiles that have been discovered by either player. So if one player has discovered it, it will be shown even if the other one hasn't. And the first siege.
Yeah, so we did see here that Voris does has perfect vision over basically everything that's happening here. With, I think it was 1 Explorer and then the mountain, right?
I think so, yes.
There was 3 workshops here. We do get a giant. The siege was more to deny the stars than anything else, really. It was not going to hold. They knew that. They were just like grabbing the kill, taking the lighthouse, going around.
People doing that, sacrificing units just to ruin their opponent's turn, I hate that so much. if I catch you doing that in one of your games against me, I am going to roast you for it, okay?
Moving 3 of our units onto the Starfish to make it very cheap and cost efficient to grab the bombers this turn, like the tech, the navigation. We don't actually take it. We siege the city. And this is a very, very crucial point in this game because it's gonna be Houdini.
A
Oh,
Houdini!
amazing.
In case you didn't know what a Houdini is, basically, when you siege a city with a unit, this unit can be pushed out of said city when giant pushing. You all know that, I'm sure about it. But if there is no tile the unit can be pushed to, just as seen here, because they're all blocked, the enemy giant that spawns will just replace the unit, and your giant will get virtually deleted, which, of course, is a huge setback when you're attacking like Voris is right now.
Yeah, because
you
you,
call
you
that a
can't
Houdini.
you can't also be pushed to the enemy ports, right?
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
you
because
don't have
they're
to
your
block
opponents.
the water tiles.
It's also very interesting because obviously giants are very, very good in sieging because they are so hard to kill, right? Like they have so much HP that unless you have like a ranged unit or the giant yourself, it's not going to be really that easy to kill them. You need 10 warriors to throw at a giant in order to kill a full HP giant. Like, we don't see 10 units here. However, we do see a giant, and especially in a lakes kind of map where you don't need to block all 8 tiles and it's difficult to get around that said giant. It's lakes, we only have 6 tiles from this specific city that they need to block because it can't be pushed on the water. And
also, let me use this beautiful moment to plug another Cymanti, because you only need 4 boosted hexapods to take out a full HP giant if it doesn't have any shield. So,
Yes,
I guess that's an advantage.
Cymanti propaganda.
Oh, what a nice sawmill there. Oh, that's gonna be a level... Oh, what's that? A level 5? Okay.
it's level 4
5
right
is
now,
not
but
that
it's
off.
going to be level 5 if they choose
Yeah.
to keep that for us, which I think they do. But yeah.
This just puts to show why Kickoo is such an insane tribe. The economy is just massive, and all the lumber huts and sawmills and all these good spots and the overall awesome resource distribution just make this tribe an absolute monster to fight.
Right now, I would like to point out the position that we have right now, because okay, let me just ask this question like straight up. Who do you think is winning right now from this position?
Well,
who does have to have the better position here?
From the noob's perspective, which is mine, I would say that Aruchai, the pink Kickoo, is winning right now. I mean, he obviously has a lot more units in place. He has more giants. He already has some in the water. He definitely has land superiority on the left half of the map. So I'd say pink Kickoo is winning right now.
I
don't know. I would argue, you know, the green Kickoo still has kind of water superiority. They have more rafts on water. So even though that the pink has managed to put one giant in the port, you know, if green goes, for example, rammers, this giant won't last long. And sieging with riders, you know, it's also not very effective because it's, you know, you just need two scouts and your city is free again.
What I would argue right now is if it wasn't for the Houdini here on the city, I would argue that green has a superior as well. Right now, it doesn't look like it. You could still argue because we do actually have navigation here from Voss. So in this turn specifically, we're gonna see a lot of naval control.
Because
this
the bomber just does so much damage. Oh my god.
This giant here underwater, blocking this giant from actually moving anything that more than one tile. So these units are fully safe. He can't kill the Juggernaut. However, what we have going into the favor of pink here, not only did we just Houdini a giant, so we have one less giant to deal with, but we also have 6 cities. Once we connect that northern city, we're going to have another monument, the network monument, because we have 6 cities. We can connect 5 to our capital. Plus, if you look at this spot north of the bomber, I don't know if it's going to be crucial later on, but it can place a bridge here, right here. You can place a bridge, and Voris can't do anything about it because he chose population growth on his capital and can't claim that city as a tile. So anybody can place a bridge there and nobody can remove it. So that's going to be something we're probably going to see later. I don't know, honestly. I actually haven't seen this game fully, but...
Wink, wink. Okay.
Looking at this, yeah, right now, I definitely pink because...
Oh, wow, we have a visual bug. How about you zoom out? Look at that lighthouse in the west. Awesome.
Oi! Yeah, the chat fog going crazy because we did reveal it here. Exactly.
Ah, awesome. Okay, now it's fixed.
Yeah,
I'm surprised the bomber is still alive. That giant right there is really working out for green Kickoo.
Yeah, they couldn't move the Juggernaut at all because of the zone of control, right? I also can explain this. Zone of control, the way it works is if you have a unit moving into a unit. Okay, that was probably the worst explanation I've had. So every unit that you have has 8 tiles around them that blocks them with zone of control. Meaning this Juggernaut right now, the 780 HP Juggernaut, has zone of control on all these 8 tiles around them. What does that mean? If an opposing unit is going to move into that area, it is going to take up all the remaining movement slots. For example, if you have a rider that can move 2 tiles and you move into the zone of control of an enemy, and you could still move another tile because you have 2 movement points, but you only moved 1 tile, it's going to take up the other movement point anyways because you are in the opponent's zone of control. And so that's what we saw here. So even if they wanted to, they can't, for example, move this Juggernaut down south because this Juggernaut is blocking it as well. But we do have the scout here.
By the way, now that we're talking about it, Reds, what is your opinion on Juggernauts? Are they better than giants on land? Are they better than 40 HP battleships, which used to exist before the naval update? Are they worse? Are they different? Do they just serve a different purpose? I feel like a lot of people are asking themselves this, me included, and I'd like to hear your opinion on this.
I really like the changes that we have when it comes to the way that Navy is played, that we have a lot more diversity on the water. It's not just... Like on you know how like on the end units you can have archers, you can have riders, you can have warriors, you can have roads, swordsmen, cloaks, like everything. On the water you were limited to just, well, scouts, bombers, or like not scouts, like battleships, what are they called, scouts? Like I call them warriors with archers, like you know, that kind of unit.
Yeah.
And the normal
scouts. Yeah.
That you had like that did like only barely any damage, and you had dinghies if you wanted to put cloaks into the water, but that was it. You didn't have any diversity. And now with like rammers, scouts, bombers,
Juggernauts. Yeah, or maybe they were called boats, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know exactly how they were called, but you have a lot more diversity in how you can play it. The only thing I dislike about the current Navy right now is that whoever has the superior of the Navy, it's going to be really difficult to take that away from somebody. Like, sure, we have a pink here that's, like, economy-wise, a lot further ahead, right? You have a back leg to put bombers if you want. You have catapults that are kind of safe and can defend as well. But effectively, it's really difficult for them to get into the water here. If they put anything under the water, it's just going to get absolutely bombed. And, like, they can't do anything about it. And the longer the game continues, the more units we're going to have upgraded on the water, and the less of a chance they actually have to get on it. And that's like the one issue right now that I have with the current Navy. But in general, when it comes to diversity, it's a big plus.
Since we have a break, I will jump in because there is a question on in the chat. So Joe is asking, is it better to have more troops but lower techs? Say like riders, or less troops but with higher tech like knights?
That is a very situational thing. Obviously, in this case, if you look at this position, I don't even think they can see it. If you look at their perspective, what's their vision like? I completely bugged it out again.
You have to disagree, Fork. You have to take.
Yeah, they do actually see it.
They see knights, yeah.
They also might be aware that there's a bridge spot here. Maybe not. I don't know.
To answer the question quickly, I would say that in general, having the right amount of units to control your opponent is important, and those units can be any units, so you probably want to make them cheap, but you in general should aim for higher value units like knights or catapults, especially knights, because you can just go rogue amongst the enemy units with them. But I'm not the expert here, so let's just see what Reds has to say about this. I just wanted to put that out there.
It really depends also on the situation, because if you grab a lot of tech to get higher star units on the world, it's gonna cost you a lot of stars, right? Like him or them turning riders here and being able to defend the cities if they were to attack. Like this city can't be sieged because of the catapults and stuff. It's gonna be very tough for Voris to actually do anything about it, because they have all these units. On the other hand, if they didn't have all these units, they could have maybe got archery or something else. But then this attack, archery would cost 16 stars, meaning that's like 5 riders less on the board, like a lot less units to work with. So you wanna like balance the amount of tech that you take compared to the units that you train. Obviously, to the later games, you wanna have more units, but also stronger units on the field. And it also is very wise if you can spend a few stars on units that actually protect your higher cost units. For example, a catapult is very strong, but also very vulnerable. So if you can block with the defender up front to deny any sort of knight chains or any form of attacks against those catapults, you want to protect those as well. So do you want to, in the early game, you want to protect your riders with warriors maybe, so you can't easily be attacked with. It's in the early
by the
game,
way,
yeah.
This is a perfect example of how high value units can be crucial to winning every game. As you just said, we get that bridge and we get a knight coming in. I think this is a good time to resume the replay, and we can see the enormous damage this knight does to the entire pink position. Just all units wiped out. This is a chain worth well over 50 stars, just earned with a single knight, and of course, with the siege on the capital, there is absolutely nothing that pink Kickoo can do anymore. Just one knight and it wiped out his entire position,
GG.
securing a victory.
The reason I say higher value is not always the best play, because this was like obviously a huge misplay for them to like saw the knight, right? But they did not see the play that they could place a bridge here, because otherwise they would have played around that, right? If you then play around that from their position and split all these units into chains of 2 or something like that. First of all, the chains are not going to be going all the way through, because they can't, like, this is the only bridge, you can only go from the east side. But also, if you split the chains and have like 2 riders, 2 warriors, the knight is never going to get its value in retaliation of the cost, right? Like the knight costs 8 stars and 2 riders cost 6, so even if you go for it, that chain isn't worth it, right? Plus, you have spent a lot of stars on the tech as well. But in this case, obviously, it paid off, and yeah.
Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how long this game actually took? I mean, this was like a 256 tiles game, and we took 21 turns to actually finish it. And see, it was even smaller. I think that's just an awesome display of how long these matches can go. And see, I'm not a professional player, but my matches don't last that long, because at some point one player wins over the other one, and we still got such a sudden win from Voris with a knight chain, but it took 21 turns for him to get there. This just puts to show how awesome these players are and how good the matches are we are seeing here.
Yeah, let's jump to the next one then.
Let's go.
So the next one is also Voris again versus I Womp Womp. It's on continents. And this one is shorter actually.
Yeah, so some viewers will be very happy because they wanted the pirate skin, so they are pirates, as you see.
Yes, the Ragu. By the way, on the Polymane Discord server, our current monthly tribe contest is Intertribal Wars, which we can see right here with the 2 different Kickoo skins. So if you haven't already, go click that link in the description and join our Discord server. Check it out. We have a cool community, loads of stuff happening, and let's get back to the game.
So what do you think so far? How is the game going?
Well, I think
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you pause right now real quick? Thanks, because I think a lot of stuff has happened and we should probably catch up on that. If you look at the timeline...
maybe go back.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
almost the end of the game. This one was short.
Yeah.
What I noticed immediately right off the bat is what color is this?
I think it's sort of a teal color.
Yeah, like a IMO. Yeah, IMO.
So the IMO Kickoo tribe chose to go with an explorer in their first in the capital, and they actually meet their opponent here for 3 stars, which actually I would argue is not that good for them. Like, sure, they see the map shape here, but especially since they don't really have a village here in any close vicinity, their economy is going to be lacking, and plus they don't really get a whole lot of meeting stars to make up for it either. So
also progression is kind of going slow for the 2 tribes here. I mean, we're in turn 6, and I don't know about the green Kickoo right now, but they've probably not even both gotten 2 villages. Yeah, see, green Kickoo is about to capture a 2nd village in turn 6. So a game which is a bit more slow than the last one, and it'll come to quite the quick end. You'll see why soon. But again, you see how awesome just the economy for Kickoo is. All the leones and the forests and all of that.
We also did see a population rune down here for Voris, which with this lighthouse and potentially some port connections here, if we get alongside the northwest corner of the map.
Yeah, so I would say this can you pause? So this map is not very even because Voris has a lot of water access, and his opponent is like, he has to go roads because otherwise he won't be able to connect all his cities with the capital.
Yeah, that is
also
correct.
Looking at Voris' perspective in this situation could be quite interesting if we enable the fork for Voris.
Yeah, it took
because Voris actually already sees Teal Kickoo's capital, and he's gonna prepare something to fight against that capital because his opponent allowed him to get so close. We'll see what exactly that is in a second. I think just keeping watching with the fork as it is right now would be quite advised.
Interesting choice of an explorer here because we don't actually have sailing, so the explorer can't walk on the ocean. But we do reveal some valuable information. Honestly, that's actually... I'll take it back.
And also, this is an important moment because Voris builds a bridge right here on the water. And if you didn't know, a bridge acts like a road tile, which means that units get sort of accelerated when they move onto it, which means they gain 1 more tile of movement. And we'll see why that is important in a second. And you can already see the game won't last long. Some of you may even have already guessed what happens, because Voris sets up and executes a capital snipe perfectly here. And there is absolutely nothing his opponent can do to stop this. And because the match is domination, it's instantly over the moment you capture the capital, and his opponent just resigns.
Yeah, very smart play.
It's over.
Okay, up to next one.
All right. Our next matchup will be Voris versus Superficial Intelligence.
Okey-doke.
This is again continents.
Rats, would you explain to the viewers and to me too what this daily number 8, number 2 semifinals means in the top? Where are we in the tournament currently? Who is playing against whom? Is this like a knockout tournament, or do the pairs actually get a chance to play again if they lose here?
So the way that the Polysseum works, how I earlier described, is you have these 3 weeks. 1 week lakes, 1 week archipelago, 1 week on continents for this Kickoo tribe for this month, where players can join daily tournaments I don't know exactly the schedule for it. You can find it in the Challenger mode website. When you look at the Polytopia game, you can find all information there.
Yeah, the link is in the description if you want to sign up for the latest Polysseum. I think this month is Abasi. You can click the link there.
And the players will play against each other in a single elimination bracket of 32 players. No, sorry, it was 16 players. 16 players, so you have round 1, 16 players, round 2, 8 players, round 3, 4 players for quarterfinals, round 4 semifinals, 5 rounds, 5 is the finals. And what that means is you'll play for the placement, because the top 7 placements out of all the Polysseum from a month will count as your standing, give you points and give you the standing later at the end of the month, because the top 16 players out of those 3 weeks will be invited to the big grand finals where everybody plays themselves. They play themselves in the grand final. I would say, like in a 16-player groups, it gets different every now and then. They change it up a bit, but yeah, it's like a qualification stage. And this is the semifinals, and all of these games are just one game. Whoever wins go on, except the finals. That's a best of 3, so you have to win twice in order to win. But this is the semifinals of one of those daily tournaments on the continents map. So yeah, did I explain this? Hopefully this explanation.
Yes, all clear. Let's focus on the spawns. What do you think?
Right. So we have a continents game. Continents is honestly one of those map types where you are forced to build a navy, right? Like on lakes, you can play riders, you can play roads, and for the most part on lakes, you're not always gonna have a navy. Sometimes you're gonna have a navy, sometimes you're not. But on continents, unless we had a map type like last game where you could build bridges and be really aggressive, where you can have like a landmass connecting each other. If you look at this map shape, we still have also, again, a really wide river here. But if this river wasn't that wide, on continents, you're going to be forced to build a navy. So right off the bat, I would say that green has actually a slight advantage here. But we do have a lighthouse spawn from red, which is going to slow down the expansion. But a lighthouse spawn, nevertheless, gives you another population when you need it. Both taking workshop here, expanding. Is forced to pick up hunting, which works just fine with their capital resources. And I think they picked up orc here, right? They pick up orc because I saw them harvest 2 food in the capital to upgrade it with the lighthouse.
Yeah, they took the bananas.
Yeah, they lose the lighthouse plus 2 organization, the 2 food to upgrade their capital as well. Can upgrade their city as well again. And now they see it's a river. So both players, right now I would still say green is in a slight advantage here, but not because that their capital is underwater. It's because they have a much better position when it comes to contesting this landmass of cities. Because they spawned on it, right? Like the red has to cross over the
So could you count how many cities on both continents?
There's 7 cities on this northern continent and 5 on the southern one. Mm-hmm. But like, as I said, this one is actually like Lonuva here is close to red, meaning red actually gets it. But the reason I would argue that red has the worst position still is because they have to cross a waterway in order to contest this landmass. Mm-hmm. And green spawned on it. So they could just go riding and red can't go riding unless they go roads and build bridges, which bridges are 5 stars. In early game, 5 stars is a lot. Mm-hmm. Like a scout is also 5 stars, but you have to get the tech. Explore for the lighthouse and then straight up into the vision, revealing everything necessary to play the game here. Like, this is what I said, right? Red is forced to either get riders or bridges, or you're gonna get scouts, because you are forced to cross this waterway, and if you don't want to cross it, you can just get scouts and get naval control here. But
yeah, but they're gonna get another city there on Green's continent.
Yeah, but they'll have to defend it. They did prepare a siege here, pre-hitting the warrior, allowing them to now kill this warrior with a full HP unit, because it has a defense bonus. Doing it the other way around wouldn't work. And now this warrior hits this raft, meaning they can't actually unsiege it.
I'm still impressed with how Red Kickoo still manages to keep hold of this village there in the center. I just noticed my microphone was muted for the past minute, so
good for you. Yeah, we've been there today. But it's time for you, Rats, to have your
exactly
and talk.
Okay, I think this matchup is still quite balanced, actually. I mean, they basically have the same amount of economy still. I mean, you already said that they kind of have an advantage map structure-wise, but I personally still think there's a lot of different things possible here, and a lot of tactical opportunities to seize for both players.
The reason I argue that Green has a huge advantage here is simply because of what I said, like with the map structure, right? I argue that Red is forced to go riding roads with bridges if they want to play this, but it's continents, so you kind of need the navy, and like at the end of the day, it's really difficult for them to play this. And this allows Green to pick up roads, forestry, like a lot of economy tech while they are getting a scout. Scouts are like something, sure, they're good on the water because they can't, like, they're archers on the water, they can't be hit, they can shoot without retaliation. But Voris being able to go tech routes, allowing them to upgrade their economy, allowing them to get roads and riders to be really dominant on this sort of landmass here. And you see this here, like we get a giant, we have a park now, we can get a network monument if we connect all these cities, and we have forestry if you want to chop all these forests to get, like, it would not be very smart to do it, but like if you really wanted to, you could use the park with 3 lumber huts on Lulu here, and in order to do that you would need to chop 9 forests everywhere else. You get the giant on this turn now up in front, and then you just like shove it up into Red City and London, where like they can't even defend it. They're not in a position where they're nowhere near giant, what I'm saying, because they had to go scouts.
And
it's quite
scouts are also expensive. It's 7 stars.
Well, they don't do exactly that, but Green Kickoo actually manages to push through the left side of the map, and he finds this land bridge, which actually brings him right to Red Kickoo's capital. So whatever's happening in the next moves will be crucial to how this game goes. You can actually see Red Kickoo training an archer here. I don't really know what he was thinking there, but it didn't really matter because this archer goes down and he manages to snipe the capital from 5 tiles away, securing another victory for Voris. He kind of appears to be our main character today.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of games from Voris. Shout out to Voris.
Look at this position, because if you like, you see what's happening, right? Like, sure, training an archer on this city here isn't safe. That was a misplay, yes, but at the same time, what options do you have? How are you going to defend the city? So you see a giant coming, you're nowhere near a giant yourself. You don't have forestry, you don't have roads. Like, you're not going to get a giant anytime soon. And this city is really vulnerable, like this middle city, so you want to keep it. And the easiest way to keep it is with archery to... It's like scouts, not underwater, because you don't need them to be underwater. Yeah. But like, they're much cheaper. They're not 7 stars per unit, they're 3 stars per unit. Yeah. So I definitely understand it, but was straight up capitalizing on this mistake of training an archer on the city, because ultimately with roads they can just go around.
See, what I am wondering about is if you could pause the game for a second. Like, half of Red Kickoo's army is in the southwest, in the southeast corner of the map right now. What's he doing down there? Like, what? Why are there 4 warriors and 3 rafts just scattered among the ocean and nowhere near defending his actual territory? He would have needed those up there, right?
Nah. I mean, these rafts are fine. Like, if you look at this position, we had a lot of units here, but they all died, right? Like, we had a lot of units here that have all been picked up by all these riders and all these units from Voss. And these units were the first ones to actually expand. This raft here in the ocean took a ruin just now. This raft is going to take a starfish here, and then can take the ruin later in the lighthouse. Like, they're still doing something, right? And warriors, especially since these warriors are behind the river, they can't actually do anything unless you upgrade them to scouts. And there's a giant juggernaut coming, so effectively, you're not going to really doing a whole lot with a scout there.
Was there another city in the east? Because I see some shell water tiles.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, there was another one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So one more.
The east, yeah, the east. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, quite the tragic loss to Voris again. I'd say we move on to the next game.
Yep.
This one is Anver versus Gamola 28. Also, would you guys mind picking less complicated usernames? We always have to come up with nicknames for you so we can say your names quickly.
So this is Lakes again from the Lakes week. Yeah.
What is you guys' favorite map type?
Mine is lakes or drylands.
Lakes or drylands?
I love drylands. Although I personally enjoy lakes the most if, and this is a big if the map type is balanced. Like you've probably seen it before, there's so many ways that the map type on lakes especially can screw you up in all sorts of different ways, right?
That is true.
And yeah, well.
And yours, Maradon?
Otherwise.
Well, the viewers are saying I see continents and aquatic world on top. I'd personally also say drylands is the best map type because it's the best one for a Cymanti. And you don't have to deal with any of the annoying water. And I always personally find it really hard to get units traversing from land to water and back to land and all that kind of stuff. So I just like the plain and simple dryland most.
Okay.
But oceans is also good. Or sorry, how's it called? I forgot.
Waterworld?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like when I play drylands and I'll pick up a ruin, it's like 90% of the time it's fishing. So
yes, I think everyone.
And then the other day, I say the other day, it's been like a month ago, but like I played on the Poly Champions, I played a Barder mirror map on lakes. Okay. I chose lakes specifically because I was like, okay, well, if I get a ruin, it's gonna be useful, right? No matter what I get, no matter what tech I get, no matter what I get, it will be useful. I played Barder, guess what the ruin was? It was farming. Barder has 0%,
yeah.
and it was Barder mirror, so there wasn't even like any other map terrain than Barder terrain, and Barder terrain has 0 farms, 0%.
Well, I guess we should just all make a game suggestion in the forums to make ruins actually useful.
I mean, they are really useful. They can really change games, right? And what I really like about Polytopia in general when it comes to all sorts of things is that the replayability of the game is so high because every single game is going to develop so different. Like, most of the time, you're not going to have like a straight up repeat of what happened. Like, you'll always have different things you can work with. You can have different resource tiles, you can have different terrain blocking you from the middle of the map, like here, for example. Or sometimes you can have a nice bridge, sometimes you can have a nice route to go for archery, sometimes you can have a nice route to go for quick giant. Like, the game always, no matter what tribe you play, is going to develop in a different way. And that's why I really like Polytopia in general as well, because also with the different map types, there's so many different things that can happen.
Well, on one hand, that is true. On the other hand, most games I play online end the same way because my opponent somehow pulls a cloak or a knight or a catapult or whatever just ruins my day out of nowhere, straight out of the fog, and ruins the entire game for me. And that is how it's been going for weeks now. So, no, it's not different.
I just stopped playing Cymanti maybe, because Cymanti is like one of the tribes that are basically played always the same way because of the meta, right? Like, unless you're gonna be going against specific tribes.
Okay, I think we're going a bit too far now.
Yeah,
Let's go back to the game.
It's fine. No, it's
But
just...
are you looking forward to some Saimanti rework Maradon, because you are a Saimanti main and
Well, it depends, because what I like most about Saimanti is that they have these kind of units with high damage and low HP, and if the rework puts focus on that and maybe balances them out a bit, but keeps this feature of units that deal a lot of damage and have other traits, I would like that. But apart from that, I think the tribe is fine, and people should just stop crying if they lose.
okay. Exactly.
I think the biggest issue about Saimanti is just that, although I don't want that to be changed. If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I think that this is a very nice thing for a tribe to have this like high damage, low HP kind of thing. I really like that. What I would like to see change in order to make it more balanced would be to remove the creep ability from all the hexapods and like what else?
That is
What
true.
units as well.
Yeah,
Like, this is like one of those things where it's like, and also the ability that removes rough terrain, like the blockage from rough terrain. It's like all these things, and even like if they want to give them default roles as well instead of those mycelium pods to balance it up for it, I would really like that change, because it would open for a lot more counterplay for both sides, and it's not just you train a hexapod, you play against different Saimanti, you get an explorer, you snipe the shaman because they don't see you, and you just win the game or something like that, right? Like, I really like the way that the Saimanti is, but this is the feature where I think there needs a bit of tweaking. But we'll see what they're gonna do. Like, I'm up for it. I think the Saimanti isn't as strong when it comes to bigger maps. Like, sure, every tribe has like their own strength and weakness when it comes to map sizes, map tribes, like what they're going against and stuff, right? So I don't think they're a huge issue right now. Also, this game is not made to be competitive. Like, it doesn't need to be balanced, in my opinion. Like, it's supposed to be fun. People should just enjoy what they will like. So,
well, we have another question in chat. Silverfan is asking, what is Polytopia Legends? Do you want to comment on that, or should I say something about Polytopia Legends?
I don't know Polytopia Legends, to be fair.
Yeah, so Polytopia Legends is this project. If you saw some like 3D videos that are on our channel, this is a part of the Polytopia Legends game, but it's unfortunately not coming out anytime soon. So I think we shouldn't focus on that. The project is on hold. So Mijuan is focused on the Battle of Polytopia right now, and yeah, I think we should finish with that.
I think so too. All right, let's get moving with this game. I think
quite a bit.
Yeah, sorry for shutting down the discussion,
good.
but it's yeah, it's like they don't have time for Polytopia Legends. I would love to see it, but it's in like a very early stage of development, and it's far away. I've even heard like it will take 10 years to finish it, so a long time.
indeed.
You'll see, when exciting for sure. We've got a Lakes game here from Polysseum.
Finally,
You've got very similar
some
spawn.
game without Voris.
Some game without wars, exactly. It's unreal. Okay, this is like one of those things that I've noticed when you play Polysseum. You always are gonna have two players in the brackets. And most of the time, because there's so many people playing Polysseum, you're gonna have multiple brackets. So what I experience, like what I see happen a lot of times, is in one bracket you're gonna have Vors, and in the other bracket you're gonna have Anva. And these two players are incredible. Like, most of the time when I play against them, it's not actually about who plays better, because it's more about who has like somewhat slightly better spawn, which is nothing to say about like RNG. Like, this game is fine. It's just when it comes to the top tier of Polytopia gameplay on a small map like this, if both play optimal, there's only so much both players can do, right? Like, sure, you can still play each other, but like Udini's it's not gonna happen anymore, or like, people are not gonna fall for those kind of mistakes. But like, I really enjoy playing against them because it's such a tough task. So I think Anva is gonna be definitely the favorite here for this match. I haven't seen this one, but I would say they are the favorite. So let's see what they can cook up here.
already a map where I think both players are connected via land much better than in the last ones. Before that, we always had
no bridge play this time.
Yes.
Both taking
At least it
Explorer.
would be quite surprising.
They meet them here. I would like to know. Oh, what an Explorer! Look at that. This was.
You still have the shared fog enabled.
Do
you
I?
really have to work on your settings management.
Yeah, okay. But I still met them. They know what's going on. They know they have connected landmass. That's like the very crucial thing, because if you look at this, you kind of force to take an Explorer, right? But at the same time, if you get really unlucky, it could go into the corner and reveal absolutely nothing. Which it did do a bit, but it also revealed the necessary information, getting the meeting stars as well, and revealing what's happening in the game. Both players did this. Anwar had a more shaped Explorer to do this. But, both players know what's happening here. Both players know that this is going to be lakes with a matching... Like, they have a land bridge connecting each other, so they can go Navy, but they don't have to. That's the big side of thing of lakes.
I think it's always interesting to see the map shape and to already... that you can guess, basically, how the match is going to turn out based on that map shape, which we have in 34 here. Interestingly, this is only something I'm able to do when I watch a game some pros played and not in my own actual games. I somehow always miss the central point of the game. But here you can see that we have a very clear land bridge between the two capitals in the middle, and a lot of combat will be going up and down this land bridge. And maybe some units on the sides, but not a lot.
Yep. Actually, I'm curious to see. Do we have something? We don't actually have anything on the west.
Oh,
I was going to say, if we, except to ruins, but if we had like another village here, maybe even on the water, this could have also been a very much like tipping point of the game, or like a, how's it called, a pivotal point of the game. Because with like another city on the water here, somebody who actually gets into the water on this lake would get rewarded for it, right? But in this sort of map shape, anybody going into the water gets like absolutely nothing from it, because your scouts are going to be absolutely useless, right? Like, unless you have really good control, you can deny any units trained in Malino, and so can you deny any units trained in this village up here if you have the naval superior, but that's it. Apart from that, you're not going to be really doing anything with the water here.
All right, so I think nothing you have to enable replay fog in order for it to work.
Stars ruin, yippee!
You always like those.
Oh, they're so strong. Like we see them allowing them to grab roads with a star run, pre-claim, connect their cities, upgrade their cities, and now they kind of made a trap here. Like you see how they retreated their units, except this warrior, but they retreated their units to not give them any space to really attack them. So now they can launch the attack themselves with roads, right? They have 1, 2 riders, 3 riders, 2 warriors, kick them off the village.
Yeah.
Siege your city as well.
Brutal attack.
Yep.
All the riders came crashing down the middle.
They can unsiege, it's fine.
Kind of like chess sometimes. Do you guys play chess? Well,
I used to, but I'm not a big fan. I prefer Polytopia.
When somebody asks me, what is Polytopia? The way that I explain to them is, imagine you play chess, but with fork. That's how I explain how Polytopia is played. If somebody doesn't know what the game is. I think it explains Polytopia the best way. Like, it's just chess with fork, no? And a bit cartoonish as well, but, it's fun. Nice fun little game.
And you, Maradon?
I do play a lot of chess. Chess is, if I had to pick one game I play for the rest of my life, it would be chess.
Oh, you traitor. I will kick you from the stream.
I said that on the wrong stream. Oops. Polytopia is chess too. I somehow agree with it, but Polytopia has a bit more RNG. Chess doesn't have RNG.
Yeah.
So no plus.
Chess is just RNG. Chess is no skill. It's just RNG.
All right, let's get back to the game.
Yeah, I paused it because I would like to look at this map shape again. We have got a 4 city count versus 5 city count here. I like this interesting decision here. We look at this capital. We take population growth and not border growth. You could argue, why not taking border growth? You have so many forests here, you have animals, you can get so many good sawmill spots and market spots later on with sawmills if you take border growth. However, they say, well, I'm not playing into the late game. I'm gonna try and get this giant as soon as I can, which means if you take border growth, you get 3 population less, which 3 animals, that's 6 stars that you're wasting by taking border growth. It just slows down your first giant. And if you look at this position, just from this aspect of things, forestry is 14, so I have 5 stars left. I can get a giant next turn with forestry, because they didn't take border growth. And then they could use the park with 3 forests on this city to get another giant and just absolutely rush them down. That's what I would expect. And if you take border growth in your capital, sure, you would have a stronger late game here, but you're not going to be playing into your strengths of the spawn. And they get farming in the ruin, allowing them to upgrade the cities even more efficiently without grabbing any tech, getting that giant, getting the second giant as well.
Oh, well,
No
and now
tech
they
is
use
rushed.
the monument to get that double giant on the way. In turn 11.
Yeah, they would have probably planned to get this giant with forestry on Marino here, but because of the farming ruin here, they were able to do this instead. Not needed to grab forestry at all. They could still grab forestry and get a giant in Marino. They can upgrade the city and then just honestly chop the rest and spam units at them, honestly.
Oh, but
do
their
have a giant
opponent
on their
gets 2
side.
giants too. What is this game, man? We're in turn
What
11
happened?
and there's
I wanna
4
see this.
giants on the field.
Oh, they also
I have
those,
to
yeah.
say, we are all rooting for Amber here, but Gamola is doing an awesome job of keeping up, I have to admit.
No, I'm not rooting, I'm saying Amber's the favorite, I would say. But yeah, they actually also put a play support down because they don't have forestry. It's actually cheaper. You would argue, okay, 7 stars for population, right? Like, that's not really efficient, is it? But actually it is, because they don't have forestry. Forestry is 12 stars, plus the Lombard would be 15. Port costs 7, so that's actually efficient to do that. Because sometimes grabbing tech is... Oh, we take an attack here. Grabbing tech is not the way to go if you are not planning on using it anyways. A explorer win and absolutely went into the corner. That's really unlucky. If you look at this. Let me turn on like this. So, if you were not aware, the way that ruins and explorer work is a ruin has always a chance of giving an explorer if there is 1 fog tile within a 2 tile radius around it. Meaning a mountain ruin can never give a explorer, because by stepping on the mountain reveal the fog required to give you an explorer. So in this case, you have fog around you, you can rock an explorer, and since the explorer will always move to the closest fog tile and you don't have sailing, because why would you? It's just gonna go into the corner and give you absolutely no value. That is so unfortunate.
Maybe.
Yeah. What did you say?
A user from the chat asked, which tribe would you recommend? I should probably get one very different from the main 4. So, we have a professional here, Rats. What tribe would you recommend as the first tribe to get for a beginner? Probably, I'm sorry, Brickhead, I don't want to insult you, but I guess you're a beginner, or at least a beginner just like me. What tribe would you recommend for someone to get?
The first tribe I got when I started playing was Polaris, and that was definitely not the right decision. Because that tribe is way too complicated, I'm not gonna lie. The tribe I would suggest for you to take would be a T0 tribe, meaning you can upgrade the capital in turn 0, and then maybe... I mean, what tribes...
That means he's suggesting Sebasi or Kickoo to you, Brickhead.
Yeah, that's what I would suggest. But there's like this, you can also pick Imo, a very unique playstyle that you can enjoy.
Well, I would of course recommend you to spend the extra buck and get Cymanti. Cymanti is an incredibly strong tribe, especially for beginners, and they're a lot of fun with their high attack stats.
Yeah, more
They will
Cymanti propaganda.
They will probably get reworked soon.
Boo.
But Brickhead, if I could recommend a tribe, I would recommend you seriously to get Cymanti. Also, more money for Mijuan. You have to like that.
Yeah, once we finish the replays, we can go through the tribes, so we can give you more recommendations.
Yeah, we will.
Okay, let's continue.
I really like the choice of archery here. Archery giving you a defense bonus on forest tiles. Not doing so much here because where the fight is going to unfold, you don't really have a whole lot of forest tiles for your giants to have defense bonus on. I don't know the numbers, but I think a giant with defense bonus, just by sheer number, takes 12 instead of 10 units of like warriors to kill. So defense bonus in general, always a great tile, a great thing that you can look for. And archery is one of those ways. But mainly you have these units like scouts, but on the land and cheaper, that can deal damage without retaliation, being very efficient at their job. And that's what you kind of need when you look at this position. They see that they got a giant from this city, which has like no resources around them. So they know it's probably going to be a park from this city, meaning there's probably going to be another giant on the capital. So there'll be going to be 2 giants coming. They don't see the second one yet. I would assume they know it though. And archery is going to be a really efficient way to deal with that issue. Anwar starting to engage.
And here we see both
away.
giants coming out, just as you said. And a perfect display of how the archers fight
this
the
is
giants.
risky. You see how we have an opening here of you can go from the south onto the mountain and kill the archer and siege. They might not grab us. They might not even do it. Yeah, I mean they don't do it because grabbing mountain would be a tech that is kind of expensive for them, so they don't want to do it. We start.
I
chopping
wonder
away
what
a
their
giant.
plan was with that giant in the west. I mean, they kind of just wasted a giant, right? Well, it turns out it was all a distraction because the knight comes in and rushes out and kills all the units in the background. This is a 50-star knight chain. I actually counted that out, and they just waste the knight for good measure because they know it's all for their opponent. And here we go.
It's a very good bait.
And
Because
as we predicted, Anwar wins this one.
I wanna like refer to this because you see they have like a really difficult choice to make here. Even if they see the knight, what are they gonna do about it? That was such a nice play from Anwar by sieging the city. They can't giant in the city unless they have farming, which is the tech that you wouldn't really expect for Kickoo to have. Like Anwar also wouldn't have grabbed farming if it wasn't for the rune giving them farming. So unless they have 2 monuments, which I mean they're not gonna have a network monument, they're not gonna have a killing monument, they're not gonna have a park because you used it already. So they can't giant on the city. So the only way for them to unsiege it is by killing the giant. And how can they kill the giant? With plenty of archers, a giant hitting themselves as well, and then the units. But by doing that, you force all these archers to be stacked up so close to another like this. And sure, you could break the chain here, but like even just these archers, they are prepared to kill the giant as well, plus all these archers with the knight chain.
Yeah, there's nothing they can do.
That siege with the giant was a really nice bait because it left them no choice but to give them a knight chain. Sure, it was more than they could have played for. Yeah, by the way, interesting choice to not promote the knights here to then attack because for the knight died, but that doesn't really matter at this point. This game is over. That was really nicely done by Anwar here to this giant siege, sealing the deal here, baiting them fully into the match.
Yeah, great play. Yeah, great play.
Looking at tribes.
Okay, the next game is actually the last one we chose for today is Anwar versus Bio Sledge. It's the finals game too, and oh boy, are you in for a ride for this one.
So let's do those recommendations, tribe recommendations, and then we'll jump to the game.
Yeah, okay, so let me just go. We have Shin, Imperius, Bardo, Magi are free. These 4 are free. So we have got Kickoo, is a very nice learning tribe. Hudwig is difficult
The
to play.
clowns.
I mean, they're honestly they can be strong if you play them right, but they're not that easy. Luxodon
Podrick was the first tribe I bought. Back then I used to know nothing about the game. I just thought, oh, archers are a cool unit. This tribe starts with archers. That must be so strong. I'm gonna buy the tribe with archers. And I bought Podrick, and I loved them so much. I played nothing but Podrick. And yeah, looking back, that was not the smartest decision.
I mean, the reason I say it's difficult is because you start with an archer, but if you walk into the fog with an archer, you can't do anything with the archer, right? If you stumble upon a unit, if you shoot that unit with your archer, you're just gonna eat damage, you know? But it's not like you have to play in a way where your archer takes the first village, but in a safe way, and then you have a warrior up front wielding the fog, and you can take an explorer, and you can go around, and you have the archer in the back attacking. Sure, like that, if you play it really nicely, then they can be really strong with like into the sawmills as well. But they're rather slow tribe as well, because I mean, just based by pure performance, every tribe that can upgrade their capital in turn 0 by default is a stronger tribe, because the workshop advantage just allows you to play the game how the map tells you to. Like, you're not forced to play the tribe in a specific way because the tribe doesn't give you an option. T0 tribes can play them no matter how they need to be played. For the map tribe and can adjust. Luxodon is almost as good as the T0 tribe when it comes to starting, because they have another upgrade on the capital, giving them an extra start per turn from T0 right off the bat without any tech, however. Wenger is difficult to play. They can be really strong early game, but actually I think I bought Wenger first. That was also... Wenger or Polaris were the two tribes I had first. I love Sebasi. Buy Sebasi, is a great tribe. Go ahead, have fun. Imo is interesting as in they are relatively easy to play once you understand them, and they have a lot going for them. But if you have a really weak start, you're gonna have a really tough time. But they're fun to play.
Also, the skin is awesome. I'm just the Imo skin. I love it. It's awesome. They have this kind of this Japanese feeling to it, or Chinese, or I don't know anything about Eastern culture, but it's cool. I love it.
Well, they should have pandas instead of koalas. It's like
no, but then you had to hunt the pandas. No one.
Yeah, but koalas are also cute. You know, how can you hunt a koala there? It's like they are so vulnerable.
Killing them. You're just hunting them. Maybe you're putting them. I don't know. Maybe you're bringing them to the city and make an attraction out of it and earn stars.
No, not a zoo.
Yeah,
I think we're getting sidetracked here.
Yeah. Okay.
Quetzali,
go ahead, Rats.
Quetzali is a very interesting tribe if you wanna have fun with cloaks. They're the tribe to go with. Also, if you play an FFA, Quetzali is probably the strongest tribe to play. If you wall or defend the early game, nobody can really do anything about you. And if you just send out embassies, people are forced to accept peace with you. You can snowball really quickly from that. And then with cloaks, it's a really strong unit in the early game as well, if you have an early giant to deal with. Yadak, especially with the world change, quite difficult to play now. So they're quite unique, but they're also not that strong and difficult to play. So I wouldn't suggest them picking up first. Aquarion, also difficult to play. I only recommend them to play on maps that have any sort of water, because otherwise you're gonna have issues, because your riders don't move anything on land. Roads don't work on those riders, and you will only be moving one tile each with those. So land fights are gonna be very difficult with Aquarion, but on the water, a very strong tribe if you wanna go.
Yeah, and Aquarion has a rework going, so it will be completely changed in a few weeks.
Yeah, so don't forget what I said. Aquarion will be fun. Trust me, it'll be good rework, right? I haven't seen them yet, but I would be surprised if they were not nicely changed. Illyrion is, in my opinion, I call them the tribe of art, because they require a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge about the game, how you're supposed to play, how your opponent is playing and adapting to it. It's the tribe that it's a form of art if you want to master them. They're really difficult to play, but if you're really good at them, they are by far the strongest tribe in the late game. However, they're, as I said, really difficult to play, but they also have really nice stream.
Yeah, Midnight Skin
and the
is
Polytopia.
I think the best out of the ones that were released.
Yeah, definitely.
All
possible.
right. And now...
Not at the end, there's two more. There's
Oh, we have
Polaris.
two more.
Oh, Polaris is really difficult. If you want to just go all out on water world maps and Archipelago, then go ahead, have fun. If you ever played Kickoo or something on an Archipelago against the Polaris, you'll know what I'm talking about, because they can be very oppressive. Fun to play if you get started, but also not, in my opinion, not the first type you should play. You should buy Samantha. Yeah,
Maradon. Go ahead.
Yeah, basically, if you play Samantha, this completely changes your playstyle, because you have a whole set of different units. Knights are replaced by Dumax, which are tanky units that do not have the ability to persist killing enemy units. Your riders are incredibly powerful early game, and you have a shaman that replaces Mindbenders that basically enables you to boost units, which buffs their damage and movement until they attack someone. Samantha is an incredibly fun tribe to get started with, because they're easy to play decently, I'd say. Samantha kind of loses late game from what I've seen, because they don't have any units that can chain through enemy units. But if you're getting to late game with Samantha, you've done something wrong anyways. So Samantha, in my opinion, is by far the best tribe. I bought them after watching a Gully video back when they were first released. And it's my personal favorite. I think I might have said that once or twice today. And
look, I only have stats, right? I have stats to back off what I'm saying. You see top rating 96%, that means they're not the best tribe, right? Like you see Polaris 100%, you see Aquarian 100%. Samantha does not have 100% rating for me, so they're not the strongest tribe, so...
Yeah, that's science. Yes, poly science now.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. We have. So before we jump into the last game, we have a very specific question from Zikizo. Is there any tribe that can beat Illyrian on a 900 tile dry land maps?
Well, I would say it really depends on who plays.
I mean, 900 tile Illyrian. Oof. I don't like if the opponent knows how to play Illyrian. I don't think there's anything you can do unless you play Illyrian yourself. Because just think about this. Giants, I don't know how to explain this. Giants are like a very tanky unit, right? When you upgrade the cities, you get a super unit, get a giant. And that giant, once you kill them, they're gone, right? Now think about this. What if you chuffed up a lot of defenders up front, in front of your super unit, but your super unit isn't a giant, it's a dragon that shoots from the range and does area damage? The reason why Illyrian is so much stronger than any other tribe in late game is not because they have dragons, not because, like, also dragons are a reason, but like the reason they're so strong is because they have poly towers, which are independent units that do a lot of damage. Meaning, when you come to the late stage of the game, you can shove up a lot of defenders up front to deny any sort of night chains and stuff, like to just be really annoying. And then you can have dragons shooting from the distance, dealing area damage, having knights chained through the area damage units that you could otherwise, from a normal tribe, not really access with a knight that's like a dragon, like an archer from the distance. You're gonna be able to chain a lot more easy. And after that, you're gonna have a lot more units than your opponent because, well, you filled up the population cap with defenders, but you still have poly towers to fight and kill other tanky units from your opponent. Like, the only thing that is bad for Illyrian that makes them not extremely super strong is that they cannot chop forests. Why is it important? Well, if you can't chop forests and you eat cloaks from your opponent, then you can get archery defense bonus tiles on those daggers, and they're a lot harder to kill. So you can't night chain them, but you know, it's like the only thing. So 9 tile map, you just gotta play Illyrian. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and another argument against Samantha. So Ziki says Samantha is unplayable on 900 tile maps. Okay, well, there you go.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's-
much the truth.
That's kind of
Somebody-
true.
I've seen somebody 1v2 a 2 Cymantes with Yadak in the 9 tile map because it's 9 tiles.
Yeah. See, Cymanti is incredibly good at making spontaneous pushes and short attacks with short range and dealing a lot of damage really quick and then retreating again. Yeah, you can't just do that on 900 tiles. So yeah, I think we can all agree with you. Cymanti
Okay.
is unplayable.
Shall we do the last game?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
currently looking for the link. One sec. Copy the one thing. There we go. This is continents, or is it? It's continents.
Which one is it again?
This one is Anver versus Bio Sledge. I think
Okay.
we.
Yep. There we go.
Yes,
This
we
is
had
the
the right
finals
game.
of one of those Polyseum games. So this is going to be a best. Okay, this is not going to be a best of 3, but this was one of the games of that best of 3 from the finals. So these players, both of them, made it all the way through the bracket without losing a single match, and now they're playing against each other in a best of 3 in a continents. Again, actually, I really like the continents games that we had because, in my experience, continents games are very, I want to say, unbalanced. As in, if one player has access to the ocean, you just win the game. In this case, nobody does, but like the ocean doesn't really affect a whole lot of this game because you have this river that's stretching across the entire landmass. So it's like a lakes game, just having a stretch of water in between, which is very interesting because you're gonna have bridges and
Yeah, and also
Please,
it's
Nate.
3 against 3. So
Also, Anver goes. Actually, can we skip back a little? That went a little fast. Anver with Brown Kickoo decided to
you just call
go
this brown.
south here.
Wait,
And
this is
if you enable the fog, I think, me personally, I would have gone north there.
northeast. Northeast.
That's not Anver. You need
Oh.
the other.
Yeah.
Kickoo.
No.
See, he decided to go south, but I don't really understand that. I would have hoped for a village in the northeast and potentially even picked up the lighthouse instead of just going blatant south into the forest, right?
No. If you look from a macro perspective, trying to optimize your game, it's like the lighthouse is good, right? But like right now, your first priority is to establish your position in the game, and the best way to do that is to try and secure a village in a position where you can then train more units to fight, right? Like if you get the city on these animals in almost the middle of the map, you're gonna have a city to train units from to then contest anything that you need to contest, right? Especially early game when you don't have riding, every single tile that you move the units that is closer to the fight is gonna be very vital. So this city here has a lot more impact on
the game than the one on the top. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
If the first warrior that you send out is the warrior that kind of decides where your game is gonna go, and if your first warrior goes into the corner, by the time you get to this village, remember you're not gonna train a warrior T0. So the first warrior you train is T1, T2, T3, T4. So you're gonna claim the city at turn 5, when you could have claimed it at turn 3, right?
Yeah, that is okay. That makes a lot of sense. All right.
And now
And-
they have this city here they can actually. Although I would agree, I think for Bio Sledge, I would have taken this village on this. You see the shoreline as well from the fish. It's very likely to be a village here, in my opinion, because you do have indicators for it. But also, if you're playing Kickoo, you already have fishing, so you're gonna see fish here, and it's a free upgrade. You don't need to grab tech. You're not dependent on having good resources on this village.
I mean, he doesn't grab it right now, but he grabs it with the second warrior. And I think already Bio Sledge is at a slight advantage with one more village than Anver. Let's see how this goes. And both players have discovered the river in the center now, which will be defining this game, I think.
Yeah, although they both don't know. Wait, did Anvar take an explore?
And
They take a workshop. They took a workshop.
Yeah, but they can still be quite certain where their opponent is, because the right
Now,
here
no.
they
I don't meet them.
Enver does not discover his opponent.
But I see the border
right
here.
But
They
they
see the
see
border
their
and
border
it's
there,
not- yeah.
and they go right with the explorer, which means they can rule out that they're to the right, and they see there's ocean to the left, so they can rule out the left, and all that's left now is that they're just in the middle down there.
Take climbing, take the ruin. It's aquaculture. Oh, that's gonna be so huge in the early game. And now you can also use meeting stars here. They will get meeting stars here, but like this warrior is really annoying to deal with for green.
Also, notice how someone lost a match to Enver a couple of matches ago because they didn't claim the river. Bio does not make this mistake. Basically, all of the relevant river tiles now belong to him. Except for the one north of his capital, but I'm pretty sure he will grab those as well, securing that no surprises can happen.
I mean, there's still like a lot more bridges tiles here that are being used, but like right now, if I look at this position, green is forced to go riding roads, right? Like you see this position, they can't get into the water. Where are they gonna get into the water? Like if they get to the water here, you have a warrior blocking the tile to the ocean. They can't go around. They can only place water units here to shoot inlands, and what is Anwar gonna do? Anwar's just gonna back off and not give you any value for that. So essentially, water isn't really an option. So yeah,
Alright.
We've got a navy advantage from Anwar, but we also have a very good position to play riding roads from green here. We take farming, we take the border of, as you said, to deny that bridge, but also to be able to get into the ocean, because otherwise they wouldn't have gotten into the ocean. Pushing 2 giants with farming and a monument from the first giant.
Whoa. That's a nice play.
Yeah, and I think right about now the stage is set for a couple of events to unfold in the next turns, because both have their giants set up, both are getting boats, they're upgrading their cities, and they've basically finished exploring, so, you know, shit is about to get real, basically.
Yeah, well, I said that green has really no option to get into the water, right? But like looking at this now, well, they just got 2 giants, and early naval units are quite expensive, and juggernauts therefore are relatively hard to kill on the water, even with rammers, because you know you don't really have the stars to spend from. Like you see 13 stars of income. Sure, actually, Anwar does have rammers already researched because of the ruin. If you look at this, we have 18 stars income for Anwar. But still, after that, a rammer costs 5 stars. And that's going to be cutting off your economy. And if you don't get a giant yourself, grab the Farak, you're going to be lacking economy in the mid game. What was that rune? I was not paying attention. We see not the Anwar perspective. I broke it. GG's. I'm going to reset this. That is my bad.
Oh,
No
by
worries.
the way, we are in turn 10 right now. Next turn, you're going to be seeing something awesome. We are going to see what is deciding this match. We were in turn 10.
Right.
We will see the unit popping up that's going to be relevant and decisive of basically every attack and every counter
Alrighty.
push we will see in the next 10 moves. Mathematics and catapults.
You see how in 2 games ago, when we had Anwar played versus
A different
Was it?
player.
yeah, we argued that taking border growth in the capital was very vital because of late game, but like you don't want to play into late game, you want to get the giants quickly. Here we actually take border growth because of the route that they're choosing to go with sawmills so early, to print giants, to have catapults as a unit to deal with these giants. Catapults early game are a very efficient way to deal with a threat like that. But also, especially with riding now, this is a route to markets. So if you don't want to build a navy, you're gonna have a really strong. You see what I'm saying here? We have a catapult to deal with this giant already. Catapult from both sides, to be fair, because green actually says, okay, this city is mine unless you can push a giant on it, and if you push a giant on it, I'm gonna have a catapult set up already, right? So that's really annoying already for Anwar to deal with, but we have a catapult ourselves, being able to use that to advantage. So Anwar honestly can just sit back here and relax. Just give up the city as well, you don't really need it. If the giant's going there. And just push markets, right?
However,
and once you start to get set up, you can just go over the landmass here with bridges.
Well, I personally think this one, if you could pause right here, this situation is looking really scary for Anwar, because like from a noob's perspective, there's two giants setting up your basically undefended cities, and you don't have any units. You have some giants in the back, but that's really nothing. So it's really the catapults that decide the game for Anwar here for the first time. So we'll keep track of that, and we'll see how much the catapults decide this game. But this was the first important moment.
I'm looking at this right now. Actually, this city is fully safe. You have a giant going to the water here. You can upgrade a rammer if you really want to or need to. By the time this giant sieges the city, you're going to push this catapult forward and move both catapults in range. Meaning this guy's, like the green Kickoo, is forced to attack the catapults with the scouts. And then you can use your Juggernaut to kill the scouts. And by that time, you're gonna... I actually don't have roads. You're probably gonna have a killing monument, and you could potentially push a giant in the city. So if they were to push and siege with this giant on this city, you could push a giant yourself. And because it's an ocean city, it's guaranteed Houdini as well. Right? If you siege with the giant. So green has to be very careful on sieging this city with the Juggernaut, because they're missing 9 population right now, 4 for the fish, 5 for the port, 6 for the connection. So if they get a killing monument and then connect the capital to, because otherwise this port wouldn't connect the capital because there's still a world missing, they can push a giant on that with the killing monument. So how many kills does Anwar have? I'm not spectating Anwar, am I? Anwar has 1 kill right now. The giant was the first kill. That's always great. I guess we don't have a killing monument here to work with. But we can still just say, okay, well then we just place 4 pots here. That also works. It's not efficient.
Yeah, but I think Bio Sledge won't fall for it though. He sees the catapults in the north, or he has experienced them with his giant at least. The one that died earlier.
I'm curious to see what they're gonna do here.
Yeah. Also, now just the catapults start bombarding over that river, and they actually don't risk a siege.
That hurts.
Yeah.
They okay. That's a big misplay here because they didn't have like there was no
too juicy hits on the Juggernaut.
They don't see the catapults, but I saw that giant get clapped by 2, so you kind of know that there are catapults in the works. So the vision doesn't really do anything here. You kind of want to move your giant out of the way of the catapults to be able to siege it. And now, by eating those 2 shots, this giant is no longer even able to siege the city. So we're not even talking about the potential Houdini. This giant is just straight up dead.
However, he does get a nice shot on those catapults, wiping them out, basically.
Yes, but this scout is dead because he just upgrades this guy to a rammer. If he wants to, he can also just shoot with the
Yellow lost
the
water dominance. Yeah.
Well, this scout is dead to this rammer, and this Juggernaut can go around the catapult and could finish this scout if they wanted to, and then this giant is also not really a threat anymore. Even though both catapults die, you no longer need them. You see how green has also 3 catapults here? That's actually really not that good because they don't really do anything for them. Anwar's not trying to do a push here. Like, there's no room for Anwar to push on the side of things. And these catapults are 24 stars of income because it's 3 8-star units. And this income is kind of going to be lacking in economy-wise. Like, you see 2 catapults from Anwar, which did their job. They did what they needed to do. They killed basically 2 giants, and now they no longer need it, right? Doesn't matter if they die now. But yeah, those catapults, like this catapult as well, like it's not really gonna do anything. Like, sure, you can have 3 catapults sitting on the shore here and then deny any giant or any unit trend in the city, but well, Anwar doesn't need to train anything in that city.
Yeah,
All
that's
We
right.
have a
waste.
park. We had still the park to Houdini that. Never mind. We didn't even need the killing monument. We still had the park to. Well, Bodegoth here to be able to upgrade units on the water for further away, but we could have pushed a giant there if we needed to.
All right.
Another catapult.
Actually, he just keeps
Oi.
training catapults. I mean, what is this guy doing? Oh, also, look at that. What a massive push there on the left.
Yeah.
Bio Sledge brings in some rammers to defend, but that's probably not going to be enough. I mean, let's just count quickly. Anwar has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 5 rafts out there and 3 juggernauts. Those
It's a
3
big
rammers
standoff
ain't
here.
gonna cut it.
Like we see how Anwar says, well, I see your catapults. I'm not gonna have my giants die to them. These catapults are currently doing absolutely nothing, right? In fact, they're
Well,
even
let's see what
stopping the
happens.
defending units. And I mean, yeah, sure, we'll have to push eventually. We see catapults here because these catapults are needed to deal with this giant, but we see a lot of catapults here that don't really fulfill any job, right? Sure, Anwar isn't pushing right now because there are catapults blocking them from pushing, right? If it wasn't for the catapults, Anwar would be just pushing here. But at the same time, that income that's spent, like that's 5-8, it's 40 stars of income, which is 2 turns of income, could have been spent on other stuff of economy, be it, just other things that you want to get done, and it's not
Also-
really being efficient with the resources.
Note right now that no player is building a bridge, and no one's really keen on having actual land combat. In the beginning of the match, we said, okay, the ocean to the left isn't really relevant, but right now the entire play is taking place on that ocean, and the rest is just some units, like 1 giant and like 2 catapults fighting over some cities, but nothing's really going on, and the big fight is on the ocean.
And it's just like how the game developed, right? Like you see how Anwar didn't really do a whole lot on the ocean up until, like, Anwar got aquaculture, right, from a ruin, and didn't use it up until now, or like up until 2 turns ago, when Green was the one who actually started pushing on the ocean, trying to assert something with, like, getting something done with those juggernauts, right? We had 1 juggernaut land on this city, and then the other juggernaut being very close on Lifa. But if it wasn't for that, Anwar would have probably just said, well, I don't need to put my giants into water, to defend. We could have just like gone roads, pushed the giants over land, and then asserted the fight on the right side. But because Anwar just did, he was playing responsive to what their opponent was doing. Those catapults are responsive to them pushing with juggernauts. That's it. Those juggernauts are placed into the water because they had to defend. It's
All
really
right,
that simple.
let's see how this attack goes. Or if there even really is going to be an attack. The catapults are shuffled around a bit. That bomber actually dies that round. I don't really know if that was worth it. And now the rammers get taken out, and Anwar progresses and deals more damage. But all these all these juggernauts are in the range of the catapults now, or at
That
least
doesn't
some of
matter.
them. Let's see how that goes.
Like, you see, I talk about inefficiency on stars. I would like to quote.
Well,
Goldie here,
I'm not
but-
saying it's like good, but
Yeah.
I guess it's something.
No, but like, look, if I would like to take this quote here from Goalie, he said I don't know when he said that, but I saw one video where he said that. He said the best way, or like the way that you win Polytopia games, is by being the most efficient, basically. So if you are more efficient than your opponent, you're likely gonna win because you
Yeah,
have
makes
more
sense.
rock stuff. Like, this is what I'm talking about. We have these catapults that are really expensive units that don't fulfill a purpose. And last turn we upgraded a bomber, which honestly, by the way, it's 2 tech that you don't even actually, we already had scouts, but like it's another tech plus 15 stars for the upgrade, just to shoot a bit of units here.
Yeah,
deal damage.
wasn't really worth it.
And what do you take now? Well, Anwar gets roads, which is also a really good route to get markets. Why can I not stop the replay, please? Also good routes to get markets with the sawmills later. We kill with 2 riders and 2 roads, or 3 roads. We kill a 15-star unit, and these roads are going to be needed anyways to connect your cities. So like it's a win-win for Anwar. So being really efficient with killing a bomber with 2 riders. We kill all 3 bombers here, all 3 rammers.
Rammers, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now we have 2 catapults in range of these juggernauts. One of them is 1 HP.
So it
and
dies.
this raft. If this catapult shoots this raft on the starfish, this rammer is just going to kill this catapult back, which is again is this 2-star unit on the starfish and a 7-star unit killing an 8-star unit again. So not only does Anver have an economy bonus by macroing better than their opponent by just training what they needed and not overtraining units, they also are able to now just say, well, I just have to trade what I need to trade. And we'll see this unfold here. This giant actually retreats to just be efficient. 15 stars on another unit.
Again. Mm-hmm.
And now, well, this giant just dies to catapults, playing reactive.
Yeah.
Sure, we can sacrifice a giant here. We sacrifice a giant. Looking at this. We sacrifice 1 giant. I can actually disagree here. We also kill another bomber, which is a lot of stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The way I would have played it is I would have killed this catapult with this rammer, with 7 HP rammer. I would have moved both. Actually.
Yeah.
Look at this. No, I think this was good. This was good. Because essentially, this giant just dies by doing that. However, you're going to get 2 catapults killed and a bomber killed, which is big bang for your buck, right? It's perfect. So yeah, we kill this bomber. Sure, we might lose a scout, we lose this juggernaut here, but we get big bang for our buck. Now it's actually safe to also upgrade a city if we want to get a giant there, because they're not catapults anymore.
Well, on one hand, the catapults have stopped the offense, but on the other hand, at what cost? And he just keeps training them.
Exactly.
He just keeps
At
training
what
them,
cost?
and Anver is slowly but surely filling up the entire map with his units, and he will be overrun.
We actually see the
no,
knife.
Bio Sledge, let's go.
Oh no!
Yeah, another chain. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
okay, let's watch this. We see a knight. And this is
Does
an
Bio
insane
have vision
display.
on this knight or not?
yeah,
he does
just got
actually.
it.
Okay.
But after his turn.
Bio Sledge does have vision on the knight.
So he uses all his catapults to shoot? Actually, no, he doesn't. So he sees the knight by taking diplomacy, which honestly is probably a good play here, because you're safe to stay here like this, and then you can just train cloaks and have them cloak the city with.
If you're gonna do anything after the next round, that is.
Yeah, but well,
I mean, at this position, and yeah, what is that? What is that?
We researched diplomacy for cloaks already.
And
We see the
researching
knight.
diplomacy actually gives him vision on that knight.
Yeah.
And now what he does now is completely not understandable for me, because he actually moves his catapults in a way that they can all be taken out one by one.
Mm.
And again, let's see this. All right. This.
Yeah, I mean, this chain could have easily been broken by just moving this catapult onto the mountain.
Exactly. One tile would have been enough. The knight can't move that far.
Yeah.
But let's just see it. Let's have the pleasure. It's so satisfying to see it unfold. 1, 2, 3. Okay, a little bob. 4, 5, and 6. That's again 50 stars of catapults.
Fun fact: they don't have a single unit except the 6 HP catapult standing anymore.
Yeah, completely obliterated by his army. Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a final!
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So before we kind of switch to the submitted games, there's a big question. Let me find it. Yeah, so Nobles is asking about walls versus stars, and also parks versus giants. So what would you recommend choosing?
Okay. May I start talking about the city walls versus economy, or versus stars? Because I think I actually have something to say to that. Might not be smart, but it's something. Basically, most of the times you will want to pick resources, the 5 stars, when you upgrade a city. The only cases where you really will want to pick a city wall are when you have a city that's contested very hardly, where you know, okay, this is going to give me a significant advantage if I have a city wall here and my unit is safe here. In nearly every other situation, you will want to pick resources, because the 5 stars, especially early game, are going to be giving you a huge advantage and a huge boost in economy, from what I've learned.
I think when it comes to the giant versus park debate, giants are still most of the time the best decision. However, it's just like walls. It's a very niche situation. First of all, if you want to play Samenti, just never select the wall because it's pointless. But I guess in every other tribe where you have a city that you kind of want to keep, and if you have defenders, the easiest way to make it really difficult for your opponent to take that city from you is to wall the city and put a defender in it. It's
yeah, because
really
the
annoying to
Chitons
kill.
don't have the
Exactly.
fortify.
Samenti only have 2 units with a stat of 2 defense units, like warriors, for example. And warriors with the walled bonus instead of a defense bonus is cool, but it's not that big of a difference to. Unless it actually makes a difference in like a specific instance, then I would not pick that wall. You're better off just taking the resources and getting some max pots and stuff. But when it comes to the giant versus park debate, unless you're playing Glory, and
maybe let me jump in. So there is a nice video about walls versus stars on the Polychamps channel. I will put that in the chat. So
let's go. We have a Poly Champions plug. Everyone,
yeah.
All right, guys, don't click off right now. The chat will still be visible after we end the stream.
Yeah.
You can finish watching the stream now and watch the video later. I think that's important to say. We only have 11 viewers right now. We don't want that to go to 0. We like you guys. Please hang in.
Yes. Go ahead, Rats.
So when it comes to the giant versus park debate, it's very similar to what Maradon already said about walls. You want to, most of the time, it's better to just have another super unit, another really strong unit that's hard to kill, that's tanky, that can defend cities. But sometimes, and some instances, it can be worth to take a park instead. Now, in a normal 1v1, no. But unless you're playing like a 9-tile map against a Samenti and you have a city in the far back from the front that you want to upgrade, you might as well grab a park, because this giant will not be at the front in like 10 turns, and by the time you might as well just take the park and get some more knights going. But what I experienced from playing some 1v1s in the Poly Champions Discord, where you can like choose the setup that you're playing. For example, what I really enjoy playing is a medium-sized 256 size Shinshi mirror, because Shinshi is a very relatively not so strong tribe. But if you play a Shin mirror, it's actually fun and balanced, because both have the same stuff to deal with. And in that instance, because you're likely not going to play into riding or roads, and the giant would take forever from your capital to get to the front, you might as well grab a park in your capital. The park in the capital, use that Park of Fortune somewhere else, and that's just like a nice, you can really nicely balance the decisions between parks and giants, from giants at the front, parks in the back, because it takes forever, but also because the economy is going to actually pay off, because every single star actually matters in a match like that.
Yeah, and we have to explain that actually the mechanics have changed quite recently.
Oh yeah.
So a few months ago, because before the Path of the Ocean parks were giving you just points, so no extra stars. So it was actually pointless to get parks unless you've been playing Glory, right?
Yeah. To be honest, I've never gotten a park in a competitive domination match. I get it that there is some useful occasions, but honestly, I think the only way it makes sense usually is if you just want to disrespect your opponent and show them that you don't need an extra giant to get rid of them. So yeah, I think your best bet if you're a beginner is just going to be to never pick Parks in Domination. It's just not worth it.
It's funny to me because when Parks were only giving you points, I was like, why would they not change the feature that Parks give you another extra star of income? And guess what? A couple of months later, they added exactly that. I was so chuffed to bits with that one.
Yeah, I also predicted basically the entire diplomacy update before it was released. I think 3 years even before it was released. Because I was thinking, okay, well, maybe you could add like peace treaties or some sort of contracts you can make with other tribes, and also some kind of invisible unit would be cool that, like, I don't know, could overthrow governments and cities and turn them around. And 3 years later, they go on and add just that with cloaks and with peace treaties.
So you see Polytopia, 2 Polytopia profits here on the stream. There you go.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have 2 submissions. Let's first go to Divinity's match, because there's a question from him. So the question is that, right, it's rather like a statement, but he asks if there was anything they could have done, so let's see this match, and
it's just a T0. But like, what tribe are they playing?
Ooh. Okay, so which one?
I don't know.
Divinity?
You have to see the So it's Divinity.
Well, so Divinity is the Semanti.
Yeah. Okay.
Well.
Okay.
Well,
I
see.
So it's a water world, right?
Yeah.
That is
Semanti, that's like a thing. If you pick Semanti in a water world map, if you don't have water access on your capital, it's over. It's over. Because
I was expecting something else, but yeah, okay.
Like, the only thing you can do here is get fishies, like the archers, right? But by the time you get that, especially since you're going against an Aquarion, like, by the time you can take the city with them, but like, you probably won't be able to because they are faster than you. And you can take border growth and get algae and be able to, like, but you don't have control to create algae more than 2 tiles around your capital. And if you don't have a city with water access where you can train the how are they called?
Reishi, I think.
Reishi.
Yeah, the
Reishi.
If you don't have a city to train those from, then you'd have no way of creating algae, because you have 2 ways of creating algae. As I mentioned.
So you can go also Faichi, because they are airborne, so they can fly.
Yeah.
Fly over.
But it takes a long time because you have to upgrade the capital first, and then you have to go hunting, and you have to go archery, then you have to train a unit. And by that time, you don't even have vision on it to get on it. So by that time, they're going to be able to contest it, because it's also a 5 HP unit, you know.
So, dear Divinity, you chose a great tribe, you put in a great effort, but there was just nothing you could do. Better luck next time, and please pick a different map type with Semanti. That's all I can say.
Honestly, Semanti Waterworld can be fun if you have a water.
It can be fun if you play it in mirror matches.
Yeah.
I've actually had some quite awesome mirror matches with Semanti against other Semantis.
I've had some quite awesome mirror matches playing Semanti against Kickoo on continents. It's actually quite fun if you think about it. Like, you have algae. You have 2 ways of creating algae. You can create algae by exploding your Raichis, and you have a way of creating algae by killing poisoned units. So if you kill a poisoned unit on the water, it will create algae. And the way that it unfolds is basically you want to try and cover the entire ocean with algae, because that counts as rough terrain, meaning those scouts that can move 3 tiles on the water, once they run into algae, they'll just stop. They can't move further than 1 tile into algae. Right? So if you cover the entire map with algae, those scouts are going to be useless. Those rammers are going to be useless. So basically, your opponent has to play with bombers and potentially knights, and you can play around the knight chains and potentially get cloaks going. And there's so much you can do, and it's actually quite interesting game if it unfolds. But this is a very unfortunate spawn where it's not going to unfold because there's nothing that you can unfold.
Yeah. So we have one more submission, but it's kind of like a surprise. So we'll see what's inside the game, because our subscriber just sent us a fun game to watch. So let's
see how that goes. Okay, it's a Sebasi mirror match.
Oh, there you go.
On Drylands.
Oh, it's tiny Drylands. Oh, it's Coin versus Speedy. I know both of them. No way.
Okay. So who's playing Speedy against?
Coin.
Speedy
The other guy's name is Coin.
Okay.
And...
Coin. Okay. Okay.
Okay, wait, who is who?
You've got Coin on the orange.
Coin is the Enzala, okay.
And Speedy on the... what's his color?
Okay.
Brown.
The other color.
Yeah.
Or
it's Yadak versus Sebasi, right? It's Yadak versus
Sebasi? I'd say it's Ansala versus normal Sebasi. But let's just watch what happens.
If a tiny Drylands Sebasi gameplay, both do the workshop. Oh wait, this is Bullet. Okay, let me explain this, because I think.
Yeah, explain what a Bullet is first.
Bullet is a tournament series in Poly Champions where you play a live 1v1 mirror on tiny Drylands against the opponent in Mirror Tribe. So all the rules that you need to know for Bullet is that the host skips turn 0. Right?
Oh.
If a tiny map, it's unfair, like host has a big advantage. Now what you do by host skipping to 0 is that the host now plays second, but they have 2 more stars to work with. So the advantage of moving second is you have 2 more stars to work with.
Ah, okay.
And
that makes sense.
That's the reason they play a workshop opening here, and they can play a workshop opening and train a warrior because they have 2 more stars to work with.
Oh, that makes sense. Because
they had to skip turn 0.
Okay.
This is, it works out. This is risky though. If you look at this position from Speedy, stepping on that village, if you don't meet them here, then and they kick you off the village and you lost the game, basically. Because the only reason they can train a rider is because they met them. And that's the reason they can now kick them off it and contest it. Although, I assume the opponent does the same, trains a rider and can also do the same. And just do the kicking off thing. Bounce.
Well...
That's how also Bullet feels a bit.
I guess it's a merry-go-round now. Well, but they will... Ah, okay, he steps off it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, he'd be dumb to go on that.
Very nice. I want to see the vision here from Coin. How this unfolded. Okay, they see this because they moved the warrior there. Speedy should know that. So they saw how the warrior moved southeast, uncovered this fog tile here for them, and then killed. So they should know that they have vision there. So this is actually kind of risky.
Lots of rider action.
Because they don't actually have vision here. So they get punished for doing that. They get heavily punished for doing that. Can we look at this position from Coin? Is it reasonable to think they know they have 2 riders? They could have tried and take the city if they wanted to. Because they should know that the opponent is on a level 3 capital and no other city. Meaning that they only have 3 units. They're pop cap, they can't train another unit. So they killed 1 unit, they tagged the other unit, meaning unless the 3rd unit is nearby, which it's not, it's grabbing a village, it's actually safe to take the village there. But they take the village, it's fine, this is relatively safely played from both sides. Explorer taking 2 lighthouses. Oi, 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 oi.
Yeah, that's very lucky. Yeah, big. Yeah.
Let's see the Explorer that's revealed.
It's lucky for that Explorer to go right into the corner like that.
It's also relatively efficient on revealing the tiles. It's not like going left, right, and center. It's going relatively efficient. Veteran Swordsman, that's huge for a Bullet. Why is that huge for a Bullet? If you take a Ruin, and it's a Veteran Swordsman, that swordsman will be linked to the city that the ruin was from. Meaning, if the ruin was in the territory of a city, then it will take up a population space of that city. Now, this ruin was not in the territory of a city, so this swordsman is independent. And also, I think it's a bug. I don't know if it's intentional or not. But if you take that swordsman, the rider or the unit that claims the swordsman is now also independent. So if you look at this, you see how 3 units, like 1, 2, 3 units are from lava, and this rider here is from Sansuva, right? He takes the swordsman ruin. He refills the... Okay, well, that's really lucky. He also gets the lighthouse. But now, you only have 2 population.
Wow, that's wild.
Because this swordsman is independent, this rider is independent, and now you can train 3 more units, and you have 2 more. Not only do you have a swordsman that requires 5 hits to be killed, but also you have 2 more slots to train riders with. And simply by sheer amount of unit force, you can basically just annihilate your opponent. Because
Dude,
they
legit,
can't train that many.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing at all.
Now you do.
Whoa, and
Saved me
another
one
good
game in Bullet as
explorer.
well. It saved me one game in Bullet where I got a swordsman ruin, allowing me to train another archer, plus having the swordsman, which won me the game.
Yeah, I saw something is wrong because I've played some games and I had like different moves on the population and I wasn't sure what is it about. So now I know.
To grab a giant here, which is fine, but I mean, it's honestly, this is fine. This is honestly the better play as well to go for the giant, because whoever, like, if right now if you train a lot of units, you're gonna be in this predicament where if your opponent gets the giant first before you take the capital, you're gonna be forced to send all your units into the giant to kill it. Meaning you're gonna give him a killer monument, he's gonna have a park to be able to get another giant. And if you get your upgrades on your city early, you're gonna have more income to then reinvest in the economy. They're getting windmills, population ruin. Well, that just speeds up the process.
Whoa, and they can actually get another giant right now, right?
Yeah,
or in the next turn.
They misplay. Oh no, they rolled the swordsman in. Now what I actually would have suggested here...
Well, I would have gotten another giant, right?
They could have... The park with those 3 farms is also giant in this city, by the way. And then they can use the road connection, or just not even the road connection, just like 3 farms to get another giant in the capital. They could have gotten 3 giants here in 2 turns, basically.
Oh wow. Well, let's see how this goes on then.
If they place a park in Sansuva, resources, and then next turn they can get 2 more giants in either city. But this is also fine. They can use roads to connect these cities, upgrade this for another giant, upgrade this for resources. We see both players getting a giant. We see both scores go up really high, so we also can read that the opponent got a giant. We also see the giant here in both cases now. We use not the roads, but 2 farms to upgrade the city, which is quite the
speedy game. You can see a lot of movement going on here and a lot of action happening quite fast. I think this is also because of the fact that this game is on drylands and not really on a map where you have any water or like big forest hindering your movement, because all the units are very close to each other and the entire space is just crammed full with units and swordsmen. And we also have a lot of riders here. Is that common for Sebasi games? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Sebasi is... I mean, the usual way that Sebasi is played is typically... Well, unless you don't have... I mean, even if you don't have a farm on your second city. But if you play opening, you play all warriors, and you try and get riding as soon as possible, you just use farms for your economy, and you want to play into roads. Like, if this was a big map, you would play into roads. You would use the roads and farms to upgrade your cities, to try and get a giant, get the network monument going, and just, it's a very fast-paced game on Sebasi, because you're also a tier 0 tribe. Now, what I wanted to say here was because if they connect these cities, they can get resources for just 5 stars and upgrade the capital for just 5 stars, but they chose to do both for 10 stars instead, which is relatively inefficient, and those roads will still need to be placed. Otherwise, well,
yeah, that would have been smarter, I guess. Who's your prediction? Who is winning this game right now?
Definitely Orange, in my opinion. It looks really favorable for Orange because of the way that the runes developed. It's unfortunate to say, but like I think the runes kind of made the game here, because this giant claims the city. You're gonna have a 3 versus 2 in city count.
Oh, that's a bold move, claiming a city right next to another giant. I mean, that giant is just gonna get hammered with damage, right?
Yeah, I mean it's fine because you have a city advantage now that you can play off. Also,
Well,
wait,
okay.
what happened here?
I wouldn't have done that.
I mean, you have to think about it that way. This city gives you the Eye of God because you can take an Explorer, like he did, to get the last lighthouse. Gives you another population, gives you the Eye of God. You can then use 2 road connections and the Eye of God to get another giant in your capital.
Oh, well,
Or use
okay,
Eye of
that
God
makes
to
a
get
whole
another
lot of
giant.
sense.
And you have like I don't really understand this part, but like simply by training a lot of warriors now, you just have to like train a lot of warriors, or like a lot of riders, a lot of units to warriors, not riders, because that really hurts. Well,
Ooh.
they might have just humbled the back here, won't I?
Well, that's some siege. He isn't
That's
able
Eye
to
of
break
God,
the-
that's the Eye of God.
Oh, he uses the Eye of God to giant
Yeah, but
push
it was
there.
lucky.
Oh, that's
If not
the
for
lucky
that,
move.
the city would have been lost.
Yeah, well, but his opponent could have also put the rider on the unbuilt farm, on the crops. Then he couldn't have done a giant push. So that was risky. Oh, and now we get the road connections in, and now we get the other giant you were speaking of earlier. Okay, yeah, this is
It would have been like
a game in the bag.
like the macro from Orange was not well done, I must say that. Like it was really inefficient the way they played it, but it worked out for them, right? Like if it works, right? But they could have macroed all of this a bit better to also, like, if you think about it, like for so many turns, especially in a case like this, you have 2 options. You either, I mean, honestly, the 2 options are just you spam units, like meaning a lot of warriors and riders in the back, or you just play into knights as soon as possible after the giants. Because you see what the opponent is doing. A knight is not really going to do a whole lot, to be fair, because if the opponent gets the knight, all you have to do is just use all your units to send into your opponent's giant. They all die. You have no knight chain anymore, but your opponent's giants are dead. It's basically, I always say this, whoever has the army wins the game. Like, you can have really good eco, but if you don't have an army to back off the eco, like if you don't have an army to back off that eco, then you don't have anything to win from. So like them not training units for like 1, 2, 3, whatever, for a very long time, although they were not pop capped, like also with this macro being very expensive, what I said, like they could have trained more units, and this rider was.
But that's kind of an oversight, and yeah, that siege was bad. But you mentioned earlier this was a bullet game. In chess, a bullet game means that a game is played very fast, so the time control is very strict, and you only get like 1 or 2 minutes. Is this the case for Polytopia matches, for Polytopia bullet matches as well?
I mean, it's a live game, right? Like it's a normal live game that you can play also in a.
Yeah, so time pressure is there.
Yeah, time pressure is definitely there. It's just this is not so much. Like, you still have time to think what you're gonna do next while your opponent is playing, right? But at the same time, the general game plan should be still in your head of like, okay, now I have got the giant advantage, now I've got the city advantage, now I just need to pump out units to win the game and stuff like that. Like, you don't need to, like, for example, you could technically grab Orc here to get another giant in the capital. I mean, it gets Rose and... Am I missing something? Oh yeah, we take Orc here and take Road's connection to get to another giant here. But at the same time, the opponent only has 1 giant. If you can kill that giant, 2 giants, sorry. Wait, that's 2 giant, never mind, it's 1 giant. If you can kill that giant by having a lot of units to send into the giant, then what's the issue, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, now they start attacking. And the opponent, like, the thing is, they can't train a lot of units. Yeah?
They are doing a decent job fighting back with all the archers coming out. I mean, their opponent definitely knows what they're doing. they just messed up somewhere at some point?
They had to go archery. They were forced to go archery because they are behind in the city advantage. Like, they have one city less, so simply the sheer unit amount is going to be in the favor of your opponent. Plus, the opponent has more giants than them. Like, they have to find a way to win the game, and they could go cloaks, they could go knights, but those routes are really expensive, and the easiest way to right now deal with it is just get archers to be able to trade and attack efficiently, right? Archers are a unit that can attack without taking retaliation. That's really efficient, and therefore this is the best way to deal with the situation here. But it's just too big of an attack. I mean, they still have a veteran swordsman here. They're trying to go for the capital, but effectively. Also, I really like this. They got a veteran rider, and I did not promote him, so they used that one to at 8 HP. They used the veteran rider to attack. It was 8 HP and now promoted it. They just saved it. They didn't promote it immediately. They saved it up for later.
Yeah, awesome. I'm surprised this game still goes on for so long, because it really looks like a lost position.
I usually don't see people give up really quickly in Bullet. I mean, sure, it looks over, but you know, there's still something they can do. It's not over.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And I think over the past hour or two, we've seen a lot of games all of a sudden turning around with a single knight chain and just losing the game. So, just as in chess, I think it's worth noting that you should never ever resign, and you should always play to the last end of your games.
But you see,
maybe look for an
they
opportunity.
now got 2 giants. They got plenty archers and 2 giants. The opponent got what? A giant. The other 2 giants died. And they got archery. This is a result, like, this is what I say. Archers, I know archers is in general like attack. If you want to try and be very efficient, and grabbing tech is not efficient. If that makes sense, right? You need to explain, you need to try and justify if the tech that you want to buy is worth the cost. Like, it's like you know how like a manufacturer of some sort has to do research before they can get a new product on the market? It's the same thing. They have to justify the cost and have to get the cost back in again. If you're not going to get the cost back in, then there's no point in researching that, right?
Yeah,
so
okay. That makes sense.
Alright,
let's see how the rest of the game goes.
These 2 archers cost effectively 16 stars. 16 stars in comparison would be 5 riders or 8 warriors. If you instead had not training units for so many turns, but like trained a lot of units the entire time, this game would not have been like gone this way, right?
Okay. Oh wow, turn 20 is a short one.
Like now you see how the whoever has the army wins the game thing really comes into consideration, because now the army looks very much in the favor of the other player.
That's true.
But
I mean, the other Sabazi player is also training archers, and I think it was Speedy who submitted it. Yeah, Speedy is also training archers. Oh, and the first knight didn't get through all the way. That's good. And yeah, okay, that knight is gone.
Right now, the player with the 2 cities, which is Speedy here, is not really looking into efficiency, right? Like they don't wanna, like in an ideal position where you have stars to spend on whatever you need. You have the cities upgraded, you can't really upgrade them any further for a whole lot. It's done. You have a lot of income. You have 2 cities with good income. Like Speedy makes 13 stars per turn, but has a tech cost of 2 cities. So, you know, they're gonna accumulate quite a bit of stars. So what they're trying to achieve here is to try and get the army in their favor. So them chaining 2 units here with the knight, although it wasn't really efficient, they still kill 2 units for 1, basically, right?
Let me maybe jump in for quick, because Maradon has to go. So maybe I will ask one last question, and we'll finish with Rats with this game, and then say goodbye to everyone. So there was one more question from Nopless, so what do you think the next update will be about? So except the Aquarian reward, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I already tried giving my thoughts on that. I think apart from the actual Aquarian update, there won't be much of an update coming. By the way, I just want to see how the game went real quick here.
I thought it will go back and forth for longer, but I guess Speedy kind of turned this all around, which is like
I'm
amazing.
amazed that Speedy won this, I won't lie. That was really well played from him.
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, I thought he's done.
But... Yeah, I think there.
But what about your kind of what about your like wishes? So what would you like to be changed? Not only what you predict will be changed.
Well, I would like to see some more use of Mindbenders. I would like to see the tech before Mindbender is buffed, because right now there is rarely any opportunity to get a use of Mindbenders, and I really like the unit. There's been a ton of suggestions to how to buff Mindbenders, and I would really like to see that implemented, but I don't really see it coming anytime soon. But if I could make a wish right now, that would be Mindbenders.
Okay. What about you, Rats?
I mean, obviously, I'm a competitive player, right? So it would be stupid for me to say to not ask for a competitive change, right? And that's definitely what I would be looking for. However, I also understand that this game wasn't made to be competitive, and at the same time, it doesn't need to be, right? However, there's one thing that I would really appreciate, that is, if you look at map generation, I already see like a lot of work being put into map generation to make it more balanced, to make it more fair. We see the introduction of Pangaea being a really nice and fun map type to play on. So honestly, great changes. What I right now would be looking forward to, if that would be looked into from the developers, would be to not change or rework ruins, but change the spawns in which they can occur. So like you don't have this instance where an Illyrian totally pushes into a ruin and just wins the game by T2. But like have the ruins spawn a bit further away from the capitals, maybe, than just like 1 or 2 tiles. And at the same time improve a bit more on the map generations to make, those... It's difficult for me to say what I'm missing, because I see that there have been improving a lot on map generation already in the past. But there's, in my opinion, still room. I couldn't point the finger to what exactly I would be looking for right now in the map generation to be improved. But there's something still, in my opinion, there's still improvement to be made. That's my opinion. But yeah, that's like my opinion. Right now, it's just like mostly ruin generation, being too close to capitals that can, just snowball the game. Like, I don't really mind if there's a ruin next to a village and the opponent gets a veteran swordsman. Like, that's something you can deal with, because you can choose to not take the village, kick the opponent off the ruin, you can contest the ruin instead, you can play around that. But if the ruin is next to your capital, you claim it, it's a star ruin for a really weak tribe, or it's a, that boosts your economy by 2 turns, or it's a Illyrian that gets a star ruin and gets sanctuary set up by turn 2, or something like that. It's like, why,
Yeah, me myself, I would really like to see the team games going, because I think it opens a lot of new opportunities for players. Even playing casually, it's like playing with family or friends, making teams and playing against each other. That would, I think, be really enjoyable. So I hope this will be added to the game.
Yeah, that would be a great addition too.
Okay, so thank you, Rat. Thank you, Maradon, for reviewing all those games. I hope you had fun, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll be continuing this highlights in this form. I think it's more interactive, in my opinion, than just posting them as a recording, and you also have the opportunity to submit your games, and the experts will go through and give you some tips. So I think we'll keep this format in the future. So again, thank you guys, and hope to see you sometime in the future in one of our live streams or recordings.
It was a pleasure hosting here, or getting hosted here. I really hope you enjoyed the stream, and I will be heading out soon.
Okay, bye. Have a good night.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.